Okay, we're rolling. Hi, everybody. Welcome to 10 Minutes in Tinsel Town. I'm Melissa Reyes, and I have with me tonight Jay, also known as Jean Wilder's Hair, my co-host, and we're interviewing Jane LaForge, who is the author from Burning River Authors. She's representing tonight, but we have the whole group in the house, so we're going to be asking them some questions about chapbooks, flash fiction, and their tour that's coming up. That Jay has the tour info there, West Coast Author Tour, and it starts this weekend here in Hollywood. So welcome to 10 Minutes in Tinseltown. Jane, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
It's terrific. Would you like to tell us a little about yourself?
I grew up in Los Angeles. I moved away. I published a chapbook with Burning River in 2009. I was the first chapbook that Burning River published. They're out of Cleveland. They were started by Chris Bowen, who is a chef and a writer and a reader. And he went on to publish several more chapbooks, including one by Chella, who's also going to be reading on Sunday.
Uh-huh.
And I think that's about it.
So how did you start writing? Was this your first book that you wrote with them, or have you been writing forever?
I've been writing forever. 2009 chapbook was the first I published, and Burning River was the first to publish me. And I was just very lucky to find Chris Bowen through the internet and through a site called Duotrope, which helps you find places that will publish your work. And that's about it.
So what is the first one that you wrote? What is it titled? And are you going to be reading from that one this weekend?
The first chapbook I wrote, it was called After Voices. And I thought maybe I'd have a copy, but I don't. And it was about my father was diagnosed with throat cancer, and he wasn't able to speak. And so I wrote some poems about that and an essay. And then Chella wrote, I can see, Girls and Women.
Mm-hmm.
And this was published a couple of years after mine. I think it was 2011.
Mm-hmm.
And Chella is a professor at Santa Barbara City College, and she has published a lot of other books, flash fiction, prose poems, short stories, things like that. Chris has also published, he doesn't publish himself, he was published by another press called Sunny Outside. And the first three readers on Sunday will be me, Chris, and Chella.
Terrific. So did you want to do any reading tonight with us once we get some more people in the room?
Oh, sure. If I can step away and find something to read.
Okay. And so you're kind of on the spot, I know, because the others weren't able to get online, but they could certainly try again. And I have a question for Chella, which was if she wouldn't mind explaining what flash fiction is. I don't really know if I'm familiar with the term. I probably read flash fiction and not even known. So if she's here or Chris, they might be able to participate by entering that into the chat where it says type something cool, because I think that'd be cool. So I'm going to throw that one out there. Sure thing, Mel. I like it that he calls me Mel, because that's one of my nicknames. Thank you. So let me see, what else do we have to say? So Jay is going to tell us about the contest, if that's okay with you. And so everybody can start paying attention to see what our secret question is going to be. So Jay, would you want to tell us about it?
Basically, we have some sponsors on the show that's given us some prizes to give away. And basically how it's going to be is you guys pay attention to the show. And at the end of the show, Melissa's going to ask a couple of questions. And if you call in first with the right answer, you win. So listen up, pay attention.
That's right, Jay. And so we have, let's see. I forgot to tell you who else. Let me just read my little thing here, because Garner, who usually does our announcements, isn't here. So so I have written this out. So I'm going to see. This is my first time doing this. Okay, so live from nowhere near Hollywood, California. It's 10 Minutes in Tinsel Town. Okay, featuring the Burning River authors here on the Hollywood leg of their West Coast author tour. Also appearing tonight, Drink Tipsy COO and co-founder Christopher Lopez, and from Santa Barbara, California, the wild and amazing photographer from Evolved Photo Co., Jens Oliver. And tonight's theme is Perseverance. Let's see what we have as far as prizes for you tonight. I'll be giving away a signed copy of my book. This is The Sound of My Soul. And I have a lovely microfiber beach towel. That's the newest thing. It's those little towels that you get that are super absorbent microfiber. They have them in beach towel size. And it's made by this really cool company that also makes yoga equipment and yoga mats and stuff. So it's very interesting. It's bright blue. And I have one for you. And there she is. And then we also have some tech stuff. So we'll be talking about that later.
Can you hear?
So first night with prizes. So forgive me for figuring that out. So yes, I could hear you. Welcome. You look beautiful. I can see you.
Can you see? You can see
so
me.
So we have in the room now.
I know, that makes the whole experience beautiful.
There's a little bit of a delay. Sometimes it takes some time to work out the audio, but we can see you, we can hear you, and it's so wonderful to have you here with us. Yeah, there's a lot of lag tonight. I don't really know why.
Oh, thank you. I'm still setting up.
Lab has been inundated with a lot of users lately, and it's caused a lot of issues.
There's that, and they've been updating too. Sometimes
I'm setting things
updates
up.
Don't go too well, but it's still a really good program or a platform for this. So Jane seems to be okay. So when you talk, Jane, they can. You're not delayed. Chella, did you want, once you get settled, did you hear my question I had for you? I don't feel like I've adequately welcomed her.
Yes, I typed you something about what is Flash?
Yes.
Oh, you have. That's very sweet. I was over here being clumsy trying to get in. What is Flash fiction? It's just very simple. It's fiction of 1,000 words or less. That tells rather than shows.
That tells. I missed it. She went out. Oh, sometimes our internet connection isn't good. I'm so sorry, but we'll get her back. I can hear you. What is the Flash fiction tell the story?
Can you hear me now? I have a little microphone.
Yeah, I hear you. I just don't see you. But maybe everybody else can see you. I don't know. Oh, right. It's so frustrating when this stuff doesn't work. Because sometimes when it works so well. But
can you see me, James? Jane, can you see me?
You, yes.
Okay. Good. And Melissa, you can see me.
I can just hear you.
I'm here, right?
You're there, though. You're definitely there.
Good.
And what I'll do for both of you, I think you might have seen on my website, I'll take the video from this. And the video won't have all the little pictures and words and everything. It'll just be beautiful video of us, and I'll put that on our website, and you can share that with your friends. So if they miss this, well, all the best parts will be in that. Okay. Yeah. So you were telling us Flash fiction is a piece of work that's 1,000 words or less.
I'm sitting on the bed.
Maybe you could finish that for us, Jane, while she's settling in.
Right. That tells rather than shows,
Do you teach about that at the Santa Barbara City College?
Right, I do.
And is that
In fact, I mean, flash fiction is great to do. I got in. I found I have my husband here trying to work with me.
Do any of you have blogs where you write like I do? I have a blog where, I think that some of my blog posts might be considered flash fiction then. But I just put it out there. Don't.
Well, I imagine that, certainly it would be the length if you write fiction on your blog. I used to have a blog, but I've never actually put up stuff unless I've published it on any kind of blog or on Facebook. And I guess I'm old-fashioned in that way. I guess if I have limited it to private viewers, it would be okay. But I sort of operate under the principle if you think you may want to publish it, not to publish it on your blog or Facebook, send it out.
Because then other magazines won't be interested in it. They want something that's never been published before.
Right. And so so that is a hard and fast rule that you have?
I think flash fiction...
It's a rule publishing rule? Yeah, it's a rule that's understood among writers and publishers.
And that would be the difference.
I think Jane gets it right. It's a rule among publishers.
That would be a main difference between a traditional publisher and a self-publisher. If you were to publish something of your own, it really wouldn't matter what you'd seen it before, as long as it's your own work. Right?
Yeah, probably. Self-publishing is a whole other universe from literary magazines and traditional publishers and even independent presses. But there have been people who have had blogs in many different styles and different subjects who publish a compendium of their blog posts. And some of those are published by traditional publishers, but people know those are blog posts. It's clear what those things are. So, if you want to read flash fiction, you can go to literary magazines. You can go to anthologies, flash fiction, stuff like that.
There's some great online flash magazines.
And what is there a difference between?
Is a really good one. Brevity.
Was there another one that you wanted to mention? There's Brevity, and anything else that comes to mind that's online?
And Smoke Long.
Quarterly.
What was that one?
Frontier Fiction.
All right. So there's a lot. And do you follow these online as well as, I'm fascinated. Just that Smoke Long. So.
Oh, yeah. There's another one that I think is quite good.
So the difference.
There are thousands, and there are some really quality ones. There's another one.
No, I'm waiting for you. I want to hear what you have to say.
There's another one they have titles too. There's one called Rain Party and Social Disaster. Yeah. I love that title. I love titles. Titles on journals really attract me. And then I go in and read what's in the journal to see if it meets my expectation of the title. Another one that's a really great flash fiction is Long Gone.
Long Gone. How do you come up with your titles?
So, they're oodles. Long Gone.
Do you have a process?
Titles are very difficult.
I know.
I really sometimes that what?
I agree.
Well, they're just very difficult. Sometimes they come to me like a flash. Other times, work and study over the title is usually the last thing that I give to the piece of writing. Usually, I always have a working title, but that either gives too much away, is not inviting enough.
How long has it taken you to do your work, your chapbooks that are published through Burning River? You have a number that you shared with me. I have the pictures of them on my website. And I think you sent me 4 titles. So for each of those, how long did you put into them? Like what, the whole process to get it published and out? Is it different for each piece?
The one I did was, I guess, a year. Some of the writing I had been doing for many years. From the time I knew it was going to be published till it actually appeared, it was about 6 months. So because that was my first publication, it took a lot longer than most. I mean, the writing of it took many years, many false starts. But it depends on the writer. You know, everyone has their own process, and some people work very fast, and some people take a long time between books. So it just depends on who's doing it.
And is there is that your cat?
It's my cat.
Yeah.
Oh, your cat. I'm looking around. It's my cat.
My cat does that sometimes too. So
Jane's right that crying.
She's okay.
Okay. What do you want to share with us tonight? Is there any inspiration, or do you have any thoughts on perseverance? I mean, it wasn't even easy to set up your tour and find a place in California. So I think perseverance kind of fits with the theme and what it takes to be a traditional published author today. And, you know, so I'd like to hear your thoughts on that.
You can go first.
Jane. Actually, the process of writing really is what interests me most, you know. And I think that perseverance in talking about process for me is a different sort of thing, because I just love the act of writing. Where the perseverance comes in is in sending it out. And the older I get, the less public I am, in a way. I mean, I'm public in that I do send things out. I get published a fair amount, but I don't do as many readings as I used to. When I was first writing, I really enjoyed the reading scene. But though I do like them on occasions, I like to spend more of my time writing and sending stuff out. And I'm sure it's part of it is a allocation of time. You know, you only have so much time, and how are you going to spend it?
What all are you doing these days?
So Jane, that's
she wants to throw it in your court. Okay, let's.
Well, I agree. Perseverance is very important. Readings are important to me because I hear what my stuff sounds like, and otherwise I don't hear what it sounds like. And that's very important. Although sometimes I might embarrass myself if it doesn't sound right. And I've only been publishing since 2009, and so I'm still pretty new at writing in the literary marketplace. So I kind of need all the help I can.
I'm very fortunate in that I live for the writer. My husband is a fiction writer. So we're really each other's critics and readers. The first person, the last person to read my work is Ted. And I trust his feedback. I trust his suggestions. I always take them, but I trust them. So I guess from that standpoint, I have it a bit easier, and I have a writer who lives in the house with me. and has a good ear and a good sense of what I'm doing. And,
I have an editor living with me.
oh, that's nice. I'm the editor.
I was going to ask you if you edit your own work or if you have an editor.
Well, he copy edits for me, but he doesn't want to see anything until it's finished. So while it's in process, I need help where I can get it.
Well, I don't think Ted has a choice. He gets to see everything that I write from the beginning to the end to the. If I revise it 20 times, he has the joy of reading it 20 times.
Well, I can relate to that a little bit. My husband edited the book that I self-published, and it's not fiction. It's it was a journal, and it was from my blog post. So they had been pre-published, but they're all together in a nifty little package. And so I can relate a little bit. However, besides my poetry, I don't have any, of the same type of fiction, but I have read my poetry, and that's how we came together, Jane, because I think you saw my blog post about my poetry reading experience at the cafe in Santa Monica, and it was the Gorilla. What was it called? Cabaret. Gorilla Cabaret. Yeah, and so. The way it works out here in California, and most of you watching might know this, but not everybody does. But in order to find these monthly shows where artists can come and read, sometimes they're open mics and sometimes they're planned out shows, but where they can come and read, they're an organization within that venue. So if you contact the venue, you sometimes don't really get the right people. And if you contact the person who runs the show, you don't really get the right people. And it's kind of hard to be in the know. But Jane, I think you were somehow appointed the person who was going to find this place, maybe because you lived here before. But she reached out to me through the magic of the internet. And I was thrilled to, even though I had nothing to do with the place except I had performed there once, I gave her some advice. And so when she did book her gig here at this weekend, it's going to be on Sunday night. Starts at 6 p.m. and it's at the Tongue and Groove, which is a show that is once a month at the Hotel Cafe in Hollywood. Hotel Cafe has amazing bands that play every night. They have a great calendar on their website. You can see a lot of fantastic shows there, and a lot of stars hang out there. The first person I ever interviewed a year ago in August was Stevie Wilson, and I always ask people what their favorite Hollywood hangout is. Hers was the Hotel Cafe. So I'm looking forward to being there on Sunday night with you and to hear you read live. So I will be there for sure. And everyone listening and seeing this is invited to come. I think the cover, is there a $7 or $10 cover? What is the cover? Do you know?
$7 cover charge.
$7 cover for amazing artists who will be reading from their flash fiction and chapbooks. So, Jay, I think it's 6:30, so I think we're going to take a little break, and we call our little station break.
Basically, I just wanted to tell people to just be sure to listen for clues and stuff, and for the end of the show, for the questions that Melissa will give for the prizes, and that's about it right now. Thank you, everybody, for watching.
Who do we have in the room, Jay? I want to acknowledge all of our viewers.
Of course. We have Stan Bush, Tommy Sparrow, Pablo, Kelly, Lydia, Corey, Christopher Bowen, and we have Christopher Lopez here. Jane, of course, she's here. She's sitting with us. Sean.
Yeah.
Good to see you guys.
Oh, thank you all for being here. And so, Jay, did you want to tell me about your your new tech gadget that we were talking about?
Oh,
your little gadget.
That iClever FM Bluetooth transmitter. That's the sponsor.
Yeah, it's a mouthful.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It
What does it
basically
do?
it's for your. Let's say you don't have a. Basically, if you have a car that doesn't have any kind of audio hookup to your radio, basically an auxiliary port, you can use this device to use Bluetooth from your phone to the device to play music, podcasts, audiobooks, whatever you want, using this
like
device.
For my Jeep, I have no Bluetooth so I can use my phone in it.
Yep, you'd be able to tune it into a radio station and use the Bluetooth from the device to your phone and basically just pick up whatever audio is coming through the phone. So you can also make phone calls with it. And that's a real cool part. You can use it for phone calls, hands-free.
Did you use it in your truck?
Yeah, I used it. I tested it out, of course. And
did you already have Bluetooth in your truck?
No, I did not. So,
now you can.
Yeah, it worked out. It was really
so while you're on your
advice.
way to work, we can talk and you can be hands-free and all.
You can be hands-free with it. Exactly. Yeah, Sean. So listen for clues, Sean. You may be able to win at the end of the show. Melissa's going to ask some questions. And if you call in first and answer, boom, you win.
We do. We have one from, it's called His Gadget is the distributor, and they're going to give you one for free. All you have to do is go to their Facebook page. So we'll give you the links. So one of you viewers will get to win one of those Bluetooth things that Jay, what was it called again?
The iClever FM Bluetooth transmitter. So.
All right. That's so cool. Well, thank you so much. And, how are you going to do the call? Thanks, Tommy. How's someone going to call you, Jay?
You know what? I think I'd rather have them set up to call into this blab here because I don't have it set up
it's not gonna work. Okay.
The other way. Okay. Yeah.
Going forward, we're gonna work it out so we have a phone number that they can actually call and we can hear the conversation, and it'll be really cool. But we'll just do it here on Blab for tonight. Like I said, one of those nights we're just gonna persevere, right?
Yep.
And get it done. Okay, so I'm looking for my notes here that Christopher sent me of things that we wanted to talk about. Here it is. What we want to talk about, Jane, Christopher, Chris, you call him Chris, Bowen, and Chella. First of all, I want to thank you. There's 2 members of your group that aren't here. So are they going to be there on Sunday night?
They'll be reading in San Francisco on next Wednesday.
And are you going up to San Francisco?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Is there any? There's 3 shows. The last one's in Oregon, right?
No.
Correct.
Okay.
Portland.
So, Portland, Oregon. So is there any one show that all 5 of you are going to be there?
No.
Kind of overlap.
Right.
Oh, it's so exciting. Is there are any of you going to be at all 3 shows?
Chris is going to be in all 3 shows.
Okay. Well, I'm really looking forward to meeting Chris. And I'm assuming, Chella, that you'll be there this Sunday in Hollywood.
Right.
Okay. And Jane. Okay, so I'm so excited. Yes. All right, that's great. And who is it that's interested? Obviously, Chris is a chef, so I'm assuming he's the one who wants to talk about cooking and yoga. I understand one of you is really into yoga. We love yoga. And humanitarianism, which Jay and I love to talk about, helping people. That's really important to us, one of our core values. Food, travel, I think food got snuck in there again. So that's pretty cool. How about Chris talk to us about being a chef? How do you incorporate your chefness? I'm making up words. It's so embarrassing. Your experience as a chef into your flash fiction and your chapbooks. Do you write about cooking and food? or do you write about worlds just so far away from your everyday? I'm very curious. Very separate lives, he says. Honestly. Okay. Do they influence each other at all? Waiting for the answer. Dead air. Treat them like two totally different careers. Which came first? The writing. I think writers are kind of born writers. I was a writer before I knew I was a writer.
Right.
Then it emerged. And then it's like, if you don't do this, you're really stupid. No, like it took over. And I remember when I first realized I was a writer. When did you first realize that you were a writer? Anybody?
Chella.
Anyone? Chella? Did you have a realization where you woke up one day and said, yeah, that's me?
Shall I answer? Yeah, probably. I mean, I started writing in the 8th grade. And, I was just writing all sorts of little bad poetry. But I guess really when I thought of myself as a poet, and I started out as a poet, was when I was in college. I thought, yeah, this is a route I want to take. And I took. And then I've sort of veered. I mean, I write poetry and fiction and nonfiction. So I just write a lot. I like to write.
How about
I don't
you?
have hobbies per se. I mean, I bike, I walk. I'm not a culinary, but.
Do you all get together at any time in person? Are you friends in real life?
Chris and I have become very friendly. He's come to visit me a few times in New York, and we talk pretty often. Chella and I talk a little bit on the interwebs.
Yeah.
We talk about what we're doing and what's getting published, what's not getting published.
Is it hard work as far as the business end of it, promoting your story and your work and the tour, or is it part of your passion?
I think it's part of our passion for all of us. I was a journalist for a while. You have to do many different things when you're a journalist. So I'm used to juggling different responsibilities. So it takes a lot of your time to promote your work, and that's difficult. But I can get some of it in, or enough of it in, so that we can do things like the tour.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I would like to compliment both Jane and Chris. They're really the instigators and the ones who persevered in terms of the tour and in getting venues for that. I'm a little bit of a slacker when it comes to that area. And I guess I should be, I talk to my friends. I should be a little bit more proactive, to say the least.
I live in New York, and I'm always very anxious to get to California. So anything that will get me to California, I will do it. Especially,
it's going to be really hot this weekend. You might change your mind. The over 100 degrees on Sunday. But then, yeah.
Really?
That's what I heard.
You're kidding. Sunday's gonna be over.
You know how it changes. So it can change.
No,
by Sunday, it'll be different. So we'll see. But so how about the yoga? Are you all doing your breathing and stretches, or is that mainly Chris?
Chris can talk about that.
Okay. So, Chris, we have.
I stretch every morning.
I do. I yawn.
I don't do a lot of.
Do you? Jane is in New York. She knows hot weather. Okay, yeah, that's right. I bet you do. We have some people from New York. Tommy's from New York. He's going to be back though. He just launched his book. It's an interesting book about music and the messages in the music. So he cites different songs and how their lyrics moved him. It's very nice. So anyway, he's out of New York. And then so we have some yoga instructors and some a Tai Chi master that I interviewed recently. His name is David Dorian Ross. And so he does his classes on live streaming like this. So you can just tune in anytime, follow along. It's fantastic. And and he's been doing it for so long that he has videos of himself from when he was younger. And sometimes he'll play those every day. So you could just see him out on the beach when like 20 years ago doing his Tai Chi. But then he has this shows where he connects with you. He's fantastic. And we had a wonderful conversation. I saw Jay smiling there. We really enjoyed talking to him. So he has introduced me to a lot of people who have all different kinds of content to share in this format. And it's been really nice. So, but personally, I'm just thrilled to have you here to share your craft with us, because there are a lot of people sharing their self-published stuff because you have to. You don't have a group to help you or a publisher or any backing. You really have to be out there doing it. But what you do, it's really inspirational to me to see you working together and going out on a tour together. How often do you do readings just on your own for these particular titles? You still...
I did a book tour last year because I had a book out. But I don't read too often. I used to read more often, but not so much now. We did an East Coast tour, Chris and I, with some other people. I think in 2013 or 2012, I can't remember. And we had a lot of fun. And someone suggested to Chris to have a West Coast tour, and I really encouraged him to do it. And that's why we're having the Coast tour.
You're a trip to California.
Exactly.
So it's not far for you, Chella. You're in Santa Barbara. At least I know you teach in Santa Barbara. So you're on the West Coast. Right?
Yes. And I live in Santa Barbara. Right.
So do you do, I think that...
as I said earlier, I probably don't read as much as...
Are there what Chris calls author-friendly independent bookstores and restaurants that have that are your favorites that you'd like to share with us? Where can we go if we come to your town that we might see you or someone read their work?
In New York, there are several reading series in New York. One is Great Weather for Media series. It's on Sunday nights at the Parkside Lounge. It's late in the afternoon. There's the New York Poetry Society, which does all kinds of things. I'm not very familiar with them. There are so many reading series in New York. If you go to an independent bookstore, chances are it will have its own reading series. There are too many to name, but I've done Parkside Lounge readings a couple of times.
And how about you, Chella, in Santa Barbara?
And in Santa Barbara, there is the Poetry Zone. There's the Poetry Zone that meets every 2 weeks, but they're in the process of changing location. There's a monthly reading at the Mission every week. The Book Den, which is an independent store, used and new books, is a wonderful venue for readers. Chaucer's is a good venue. So we have an adequate number. For a fairly small place, we have an adequate number. And I do a lot of readings actually at the college during the school year, working with writers, with students. So we do a fair number.
I should say there's a series in Los
readings.
Angeles called The Rorschach, which is at the 826 headquarters in Los Angeles. That's
Okay.
on Sunday in the afternoon, once a month. If you could Google it, it's a very nice series. They get a good crowd, and they have little contests that involve having the audience do some writing. So I recommend looking into that.
Okay. 826?
826, the Dave Eggers Literacy Centers, 826 LA, 826 San Francisco. So it's
neat.
on Sunset Boulevard in Echo Park, I think, or Silver Lake.
I'll have to look that up. That sounds really interesting. I'm really looking forward to seeing you. What can you tell me about what you'll be reading this weekend? Why did you choose it? What's special about those pieces? What is it that you're going to be sharing and why?
Chella?
Hey, Chris, go first. Chris?
I'm going to be reading. Chris is going first? Okay.
I don't think so. All right, well, go ahead, Chella.
Is Chris typing?
No, I don't see anything myself, so he can type while you talk.
Of course, I'm going to be reading from Girls.
Girls and Women.
I'll be reading from Girls and Women.
So you haven't really picked it out yet?
I'm also going to be reading from our latest chapbook. Yeah, I have picked it out. It depends. If we have 10 minutes, I have certain works I'm going to be reading, and then I have additional works if we have 15 minutes to read.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want us to read one of our works today?
I would love that. We've got about 10 minutes left, so whoever would like to read a little something. Looks like I'm going to read out what Chris has said. He says he hasn't picked any out yet, and some from his chapbook, some published but not in the book. That's interesting. So it's a special, super special. And you've thought it out. How about you, Jane? Do you have something particular?
I'm going to be reading some new pieces or pieces that might mean something to some of my friends in the audience. I'm trying to publish another chapbook, so maybe some things from that.
Are you excited or do you get nervous?
Nervous.
Yes, of course. Chella, did you want to read something?
Oh, there's always a little bit. Sure.
Okay.
I will.
Please. Okay. While you're reading.
Let me read something from Girls and Women. Shall I put the cover in front of the screen? It's really a cool cover. Okay. Diana loved anything orange. Am I getting that? No, I won't worry with that. Hunting vests, nail polish, hard hats, life jackets, water guns. When she slipped through her mother's legs, almost butting the doctor's stomach, her skin turned a yellowish red. I did crave pumpkin, her mother said. Before my water broke, I ate a whole pie, crust and all. It took 11 days of being rubbed in olive oil and resin, slightly massaging Diane's new skin that capitulated to air in March before trout season, before her father deserted them for Pennsylvania streams. Her 8th Halloween, she painted her nose and toes tangerine and swathed herself in a sheet, dyed sunshine orange, that her mother soaked in white vinegar until the bleeding stopped. Even then, in 3rd grade, she knew what they didn't. How we climb into our wombs at night, sheets over our heads, and wait for the water to float us back.
Finis, thank you. It's lovely.
You're welcome.
Oh my goodness. I'm really, really looking forward to Sunday and reading all of your books.
Oh,
Yes,
thank you.
definitely. I knew that it was going to be special. It's just heartwarming. Thank you.
I think it's very, very special that we've all been published for the same, for Burning River, and you're sharing.
Fantastic. Well, I don't know. Gosh, I feel like so warm and relaxed with you all and hearing your words. It's a real cozy feeling. And like I said, I was going to have to try to work hard to keep my energy up because our next guests are very full of energy. We have Christopher Lopez, who actually he works, but in addition to that, he has a side business or a new business venture that's an app where people can order alcoholic beverages to be delivered to them there wherever they are via their cell phone. And he facilitates that. Isn't that cool? Now I want an ice cream one, but I think that alcohol is okay too. Now and then. But in addition to that, he and his friend go out and help the homeless, and they do selfless acts of intentional kindness where they go, and his friend is a barber, and he takes his equipment and they give homeless people haircuts and help them and give them toiletries and things that they might need to get through the night. And they do it at odd times of the night when nobody else is out there. And so it's pretty amazing. Right. And so we're going to be talking about that work that they do as well as the new business. And this young man works really 24/7. He has a lot of energy. And the other guest we have is a photographer. His name is Jens Oliver. And he is... he's one of those people that he'll just start talking and you just get lost in his conversation. He just can tell about everything and anything. He's very well educated and an artist. So he's just very worldly and he's a lot of fun. So you're welcome to stay around. And if you have any questions for me, now is the time. If anybody has any questions for any of our authors here with us today, Jane LaForge, Dr. Chella Courington, we have Christopher Bowen in the room. They're the artists that are going to be doing a reading this Sunday at the Tongue and Groove show, which is at the Hotel Cafe in Hollywood on Sunday evening at 6 p.m. So all of the information is on MsMeliz.com. You can just go there and see links to the venue, links to their publishing group, Burning River, and links to their websites as well. So, and of course, you can buy their books and learn more about flash fiction and chapbooks and poetry readings because it's so inspiring. It's a true testimony to perseverance because it ain't easy to get that stuff published and out there because you're not doing it the easy way. And that's beautiful the way you're doing it. So thank you, Jay. Put the link to MsMeliz.com in the side. Questions? Anybody? Do you have a question about the show, about anybody in the room? We've got an intimate little group. So if you have any type of question about publishing or writing or poetry. I have a question about poetry. When you started writing poetry, Chella, you said that that's when you were a writer and that was your thing. Do you find that poetry takes a certain level of passion or passionate thought from the heart that's different than writing that takes more work from your mind? Does that make sense? I know for a fact, for me, I wake up thinking in poetry. I've had a particular emotional ride, motherhood, mother dying, hot sex. I mean, just any kind of real, I wake up thinking in verse.
Hot sex.
Yeah. Right? So how do we incorporate that?
I think that works for a lot of people. I also think that passion works as well too in prose, that you can have that same sense of passion as you do in poetry. You just pick up a book by someone like Toni Morrison, Edwidge Dandicott, Julia Alvarez. You feel that passion. With Morrison, if you just pull out sections of her writing, you have prose poems. So I think that the passion is as strong and can be as strong in prose as it is in poetry. In poetry, though, you're just dealing with fewer words, so you've got to be careful. With me, as a poet sort of who writes prose, it takes me a hell of a lot longer to write prose because I still worry about every word that I put on the page. I'm a storyteller, but also I'm equally as concerned with how those words are going to manifest and appear.
You write for sound in poetry, the word sound. And you have to have a certain economy with words because it is a shorter form. There are things in prose you may have to do that you wouldn't want to do in poetry because it would take too much time.
True. It's fascinating. And what inspires you? All three of you could answer that question. Is there anything, or Christopher Lopez's question is, how do you find inspiration to write your poetry?
Well, I listen to a lot of radio, a lot of speech. That inspires me a great deal. A lot of my memories inspire me. I started writing poetry when my father lost his voice because of throat cancer, because that seemed, the loss of his voice seemed something that was so profound that I could only write about it in something that paid attention to sound.
I see. That's riveting. Wow.
So, what about you, Chella? What inspires you?
She answered over here.
Living. I mean, just living inspires me. I'm very much into, as you said, memories, moments, just living.
Christopher Bowen, do you have an answer for what inspires you to write your poetry and your flash fiction? And put your answer in the side there. And I just want to thank you all. You are total rock stars. Thank you for being on 10 Minutes in Tinsel Town. You really are. You are superstars. Thank you for shining brightly.
Oh, thank you. So sweet.
Thank you for showing your shining, smiling faces and for being with us. And people used to a lot, but lately it's been my own life story. Yes. You know what? I'm so glad that Christopher said that, because that's exactly what 10 Minutes in Tinseltown's about. It's about sharing our own life story and making ourselves shine brightly as the superstars that we are. And just because we don't have national or international celebrity, this is your time to be a celebrity, because what you do is important, and it's your little baby that you're sharing with the world, and we want to see it do well. We want to see you do well. So thank you. Thank you for being here. You're welcome to stay. I'm going to see you and meet you. We'll take lots of pictures. We'll put it all over the internet. You'll get a whole bunch more people come see you in San Francisco. Jay's up in that Bay Area. Maybe he'll come and see you. I don't know. We'll see who we can find that we can get to see you up there. And it's just such a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you. It's 7:00, Jay. Time went fast. That last half hour zoomed by.
And I believe next up we're going to have Christopher. He's going to be coming up,
before
right?
we say goodbye, I should give you an opportunity, Jay, if you have a question for the authors, or if not, we can just move it right along. I didn't give you much time.
They've been awesome. I really liked hearing everything they had to say, and thank you for your time, guys. You were wonderful. Thank you.
All right. Well, good night. You're well. I'm going to take you off the screen, but you're going to still be in the room. Okay. So thank you. See you soon. Thanks, everybody. Everybody really likes you being here.
Bye.
It's not goodbye. It's still hello. Oh, you can come back at the end. We'll have after the show if you want to come back. Okay. Whoops. All right. So, Christopher, you're up next. And when Jens gets here, we'll pop him in. And thank you for being here. And have you been on Blab before?
Not sure.
No, I've never been on Blab before. How's it going?
Welcome to Blab. Wow, look at you. Where are you?
I'm in the backyard, hanging out, enjoying some sun, getting sunburnt.
Beautiful. I hear some. Do you have a TV or something on?
Actually, no. I'm actually on Meerkat right now. I was on Meerkat while I was listening. You know, multitasker. I got the headphones in so I can hear you guys, and then I have Meerkat on.
I turned
it off.
Okay. It's all good. It's all good. All right. So thank you again to our authors from Burning River. I'm going to change the title over here. Jay, why don't you talk to Chris?
What's up, Chris? How's it going? I haven't met you before. I've seen your Meerkat streams, but we've never met. So what's up?
Well, it's nice to finally meet you. What's up? How's it going?
Going good, man. Going good. I seen a bit of your video today about Raise LA. And I was really inspired. That's great stuff, man. I really like that kind of stuff. And I think what you're doing is great. And I want you to be able to promote that today as well. I think Melissa wants to hear a bit about that as well. So
very cool, very cool. Yeah. Melissa was in there last night. And I thank you for the support.
Yeah.
I was really, really inspired by what you were doing. Tough to watch. It can't be easy. I'm interested in knowing what drives you to do that. Takes a special person.
Ever since I started my company, it was like, I wanted to give back because I know eventually it's going to be a lot bigger. So I wanted to lay the foundation as we laid the foundation for other things. And my friend came to me and he was like, hey, I want to go around and I want to give haircuts to the homeless. Is there anything that you want to do? Do you want to come along? And I was like, didn't even hesitate. I was like, boom, yeah, I want to do it. And I want to, let's see what I can bring to the table. And so I immediately thought of Meerkat, just to share and just to show people, because, you got to spark the inspiration, not like we want to exploit anybody, but we do want people to feel touched and moved. And these are like two normal people that are just going out on their spare time. And, anyone can do that.
Do you remember, oh my gosh, I'm going to forget the name. Let's scratch that. But what do you get out of it? You know how there's always a payoff? Sometimes it could just be, something short and sweet. But what do you, when you're done, when you go home at night and you lay down, what do you think? What are you thinking? Are you thinking, I can't wait to do it again? Or are you thinking, what the hell was I thinking?
Last night specifically,
it's dangerous
out
there.
Last night specifically, I was like, man, I'm so tired. I just want to go to sleep. I've been up since 6 o'clock in the morning.
Why did you even go then?
Because there was no other, to me, there was no other option whether doing it or not. Shafiq was actually sick last Sunday, and I had linked up with Keiki Poppins from Meerkat. She baked some goods. She baked some cupcakes, and we went to an outreach center. So we were actually going to give haircuts there, and I was going to teach soccer, and we were going to do that at the outreach center. But we weren't able to give the haircuts because Shafiq was sick. So I just was like, okay, what should I do? I grabbed some clippers. Even though I don't know how to cut hair, I can at least, buzz a haircut. That's easy. And then I brought my soccer stuff and, went there. And I was going to stream it. A lot of people weren't comfortable. So I was like, you know what, let me just do what I can. I helped people. I got them drinks, served them some food, threw away their trash for them. There wasn't really a lot for me to do. And that, it was just like, there's going to be an obstacle in the way. There's always obstacles in the way. Do you let it stop you or just keep going? So, like, even though I was tired, there was a point where I was streaming last night, too, where I just hit a wall. We were about 30 minutes in. We had just left Downey, picked up some new shirts for the Raise LA movement. And then we had gotten to Culver City to go to Target to go buy some toiletries and deodorant, things like that.
So you bought that stuff?
Yeah. It was only like $20, and we got enough to make 5 bags.
You even got girl stuff, Jay.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we got some girls'
amazing.
Deodorant just because you never know who you're gonna run into, and I know nobody does that. It's always like you help somebody, when it's most convenient. And for us last night, it's definitely not convenient. So, not to sound rude or weird. Sorry, there's like a plane going by right now. But not to sound rude or weird, but because of my work and because I started a company and because I'm working with LA Galaxy coaching and whatnot, and I just got bumped up a position. I work from like 7:30 in the morning all the way until like 10 o'clock, sometimes at midnight. So there's really kind of no downtime. So I have to do it either really late at night or really early in the morning, or try and work a way around it where I have an hour and that's the only time I can give back. So
Right.
that's just, it's like, if there's no time, you got to make time, and whatever comes in the way, just go through it. Go through it.
Well, our theme is perseverance, and I think that you're a very shining example of somebody who really will do whatever it takes to get those things done. I want to come back to what your plans and goals are for Raise LA and Raise the World. And I'm very pleased that I heard you say last night that you're going to make it an official 5013C nonprofit. And that way we can support you officially. And I think that's very important to a lot of us right now. I want you to tell me and talk to Jay, because Jay is more of a sports person than I am, about your history and reason and how you got into coaching soccer for LA Galaxy.
Okay. So,
I know you don't talk about that wonderful thing that you're doing, and I know that soccer has been your passion for a very long time. Tell us.
Yeah. Well, Jay, I started playing soccer ever since I moved from Culver City to Torrance, to the South Bay area. I've been playing since I was 6. I played every level. I played from AYSO to the club level to high school to the community college, all the way to a 4-year. And then I played in a player development league. And then from there, I went all the way to Korea to go play professional over there. And that was like 2 years ago. And I was there for about 9 months, and then I realized, wow, I'm 27 now, and not that like being a millionaire is like the ultimate goal of my life, but I would like the financial freedom to leave whenever I want, or to, I think everybody wants that financial freedom. And an idea had come up with a couple of my friends, and they were talking to me about it, and I really felt passionate about it. And I felt like, I've given 21 years to soccer.
Wow.
And in those years of playing, I actually started working with Galaxy when I was still playing college. So it was something to do in the summer when technically I wasn't supposed to be training. So I started working with them. I started taking some licensing courses, so I'm a nationally certified coach, and then so that was 4 years ago, when I was still in college, and it was just playing with the little kids and teaching them how to get better in soccer. And then I'm looking, on the verge of being professional. It was really kind of a way just to give back the knowledge, because I've always been like good with kids because I have 10 brothers and sisters.
You do?
So it's like, yeah. So it's like that like your own space thing doesn't really exist. It's like not a thing that's like real.
That's why you go out for long walks at night.
Right? It was like, as I'm gonna be with crazy in crazy scenarios anyways. Like if it's not a super crazy, sword fight or something going on, or like actually when I was living in Korea, I was living with the players. So it was like, if when you're living with a couple of players, it's like, you could be tired, but the other 3 people are like 100% ready to go do things. Let's go train. Let's go do this. Let's do that. And it's like, when you have that energy around you, you just absorb as much as you can and keep going.
Right. Do you have any questions, Jay, for Chris? I didn't realize he played professionally in Korea.
Yeah, I didn't know. But I also didn't know he had that many brothers and sisters. That's great.
We could do a whole show about that.
I have 8 kids personally, so I know what it's like to be in a large family, and but wow, 10 brothers and sisters. That's pushing it, man. Pushing it.
Yeah, definitely.
Mom and dad were very busy, right?
Yeah. So the crazy thing about it is that I only have half siblings. So when I started the company, which I kind of viewed it as a setback, and I kind of like thought it was a really bad thing, because here I am living in a different country, doing it all on my own. And then I moved back, and I threw all the money I did into this company, and I like moved back into my parents' house. And I was like, no, didn't I just get away from all this? But my mom and my dad never got married. So my dad had 3 older siblings. So my oldest sibling is 42, and then there's my other brother's 40, and then my oldest sister is like 38. And then there's me.
How old are you?
I have I'm 27.
Okay.
And then my mom got married to my stepdad, and then my dad wasn't married anymore. And then I had a little sister, and then unfortunately she only lived for 2 minutes.
Oh.
And then I had another sister who just turned 18 this year. Another brother who's 16, and at the same time my dad got remarried and had a son as well at the same time. And they're both 16. And then my mom had another boy who's now 13.
Wow.
And at the same time my mom had an 11-year-old, and so did my dad.
Oh wow! So you have you're in the middle, kind of toward the first round. Right?
Yeah, I'm kind of towards the first round. Yeah, kind of towards the first round. But there's like a minimum of like a 14-year difference, 13 and a half year difference. Mm-hmm. And then it just stretches from there. And then for the other ones, like the closest one to me is 8 years, and then 10 years.
Yeah, I can relate to that a lot. Yeah, because me and my wife, we came together with kids of our own, and then we had kids of our own as well. And so I take care of them just as they're all my kids, That's just, their fathers doesn't want anything to do with them, so I take care of them. But the thing is also I can relate to that in the age difference, because we have some from 1-year-old to 22, so there's a big gap there. So,
yeah, I know what that's like.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I can relate a little bit too, because even though our parents are the same parents, and but they had teenagers when I was born, and they just didn't have any kids in between. And I don't know if my mom had miscarriages or anything, and I never said anything like that. I don't think so. She had the 2, and then later when she was 40, they popped out me, and so my sister died. And so my brother, who's the oldest, she died when she was 55. My brother's in his 60s, and then there's me. And there's 15 years between, and there's just the two of us. Our parents are gone. My sister's gone. So it's just the oldest and the youngest, 15 years apart. And we're the closest. I mean, we don't have anybody else. And I thought I was in a big family because I was the youngest, and there's all these cousins and lots of aunts and uncles. My mom had, 6 brothers, 1 brother and 5 sisters, and my dad had a brother and a sister, and everybody had kids. And now it's just like me and my brother and our kids and my sister's kids. And we're still really close with my sister's husband, even though he's remarried. He's like, for 25 years, he was my brother-in-law. So, but that's all we have. But I can relate with that generation gap and how you can still be so close to somebody, even though maybe, a different parent, a different time, and a different place they grew up. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in the South Bay, so I grew up here in Torrance, California, and I mean that's when I moved here when I was 6. Before that, I was living in Culver City. But yeah, I grew up all over here. My dad lived, he used to live in Valencia, and now he lives in Chino. And, going back and forth between mom's house and dad's house, I didn't really know the difference or anything like that. It was just like, sometimes I go to my dad's, sometimes I didn't. Sometimes I hated going to, staying home at my mom's house. And, I didn't really know. And then it kind of hit me, like when I was growing up, when I was like around like 20 and I wasn't going into college, and I was like, I need to spend more time with my dad. I need to figure out, because everyone says nowadays, like, if you have a kid at 20, it's a young age, but not too far long ago, people were having kids at like 20, and they had careers and things like that. So I didn't really see it as far-fetched. Like, hey, I need to know my dad before, heavens forbid, not even heavens forbid, but if I had a kid and I wasn't ready, I would at least want to like make sure I had a strong relationship with my dad, because I'd want the same thing from me as well.
How old were you when you had that realization that you needed to spend some more time with your dad while he was still around?
I think it was like 20.
Really?
Roughly around there, and yeah.
Wow.
Because
You're an old soul.
Being an athlete, no, I don't think so. But being like an athlete, it's like you kind of like, you got to sacrifice everything to get done what needs to get done, like to be better, to be the best version of you on the field. And I think I hit that moment when I really put like everything aside, and I didn't hang out with anybody. Like I literally didn't hang out with anybody 2 years before when I went pro. I'd heard something from a coach like, hey, like, you're not good enough. And that kind of like, it didn't hurt me. It was more like, all right, fine, I'll show you. And then I played for him for a little bit. I used every training session. I got the most out of it. And then that perseverance was kind of like, I got addicted to it, to not just to show him, because it wasn't about showing him. It was just about me doing what I can to show myself and to really push myself. And once you do it once, you could do it again, and you could do it again, and do it again, and do it again. And then next thing you know, you don't even realize that, hey, the sun's up, I'm waking up, and I'm doing everything that I need to do. I'm training, I'm making sure I'm eating right. And I got in that mode for about three and a half years, and then I was like, well, okay, so like I spent birthdays in Korea with a whole bunch of people that didn't know how to speak English, and I'm struggling to learn Korean, or I'm not doing anything for my friends' birthdays. That's stuff that you go and do. Like, that's stuff I wasn't doing, because I knew that I would go and I'd go be the the most fun I could possibly be. So I knew it wasn't the best thing for me to do if I wanted to go where I needed to go.
Oh,
So,
you had a lot of sense.
no, definitely not. I had moments of sense.
That's all it takes sometimes.
Right. I agree to that.
So what are your goals for Raise LA? What is it that you want to do next, and how do you see it growing?
The Raise LA, the goal is to raise San Diego, raise San Francisco, raise Seattle, and if we can go and hit every major city in the West Coast, and then from there, you know, I was talking with Shafiq earlier, and he was talking about, you know, we need to schedule our trip to Dubai. I'm supposed to go to Dubai next January or December. Let's go to Dubai. Let's do Raise Dubai, and then after that, on the way home, let's hit France. Let's do Raise Paris. So that's the thing. Hanging out with Shafiq is that it's not really a matter of can we. It's just we are going to. There's no question of can we. It's a we are going to. And so I told him, I was like, we need to change Raise LA to Raise the World, because I see it bigger than just Los Angeles. And then he was like, all right, cool. Like, and he was like, I want to go to Dubai. Like, as soon as I said that, that's when he was like, we're going all these places. He had them picked out already.
Why did he?
So that was super exciting for me.
Why Dubai? Is there a homeless situation there that he wants to address, or is that just a destination that he'd like to visit? Is there a social situation? I know with Dubai, there's people with. I think this is everywhere in every major city. There are going to be people that have the things that are up here, and there are going to be people that have the things that are like down here. Right. Like I'm barely in the screen. And the whole point behind the haircut and the interaction and, you know, the little tote bag is we do I hope I don't go too far, but I am going to come back to this point. With my company, we've done orders where we have people that order, you know, $1,200 worth of alcohol. We have people that book us for an event, and you go there and you get a tote bag, you get a luxurious pen, you get a wallet, you get certain access to things. Yeah, you get your swag bags, right? That's essentially what the tote bag represents. You get the swag bag. Aww. You get your haircut. You get, you know, you're getting a $100 haircut, and you're getting this type of service, and it's just whenever, you know, we are blessed enough to run into you and give you that service, because all of us have all penny pinched one time, whether or not we are not rich or we are rich. There's going to be a point in time where you don't have a lot of money on you, whether it be, you know, you're in a water park and you left your money in the locker, and, you know, you want to get a water right now. You can't get what you want when you want it. So for them, we want to give them something that can change their life, and do it in a way that it's not going to just be, oh, come to this homeless shelter and come hang out for a little bit, and, you know, why don't you come here every Sunday? Mm-hmm. Like, we want it to go in there, and we want them to realize, like, hey, we're doing this out of the goodness in our hearts, and we want to change your life for the better. Can we inspire you to change your life for the better? And what is the response when you help somebody? I saw it last night, but how do you see it when you give somebody a haircut? What do they say?
They're always thankful. Those that we give haircuts to. I mean, I've seen in the Venice area, we went and we weren't able to stream. There just wasn't good reception. But you know, we kept going anyways, and we cut a guy's hair named Rob, and he was so happy. He was like, man, like this. I have $12, and I got to take the bus to go meet my friend. this is my food. This is like all the money that I have right now. And I don't even know if I could go meet him, and he's all the way in LA. And if I can go meet him, you know, I can at least, you know, get extra food and things like that. But, you know, I need to get a haircut because, you know, all my beard underneath is like 100-degree weather. Your beard hairs underneath on your neck just bugging you. You're itchy, and it's one of the, I mean, I just recently got this like maybe like a week ago. But actually no, this is like the longest like I can grow a beard. So I'm starting to relate to like, oh my God, I freak out if I don't shave. So I can relate to that because I hate all this under the neck hair. I hate when my hair just isn't the way I want it. So to give somebody a haircut, but when you could give somebody like just comfort to be themselves, like the clothes you wear is something that like you can change and take off and do things like that. But the hair, like, that's your hair. It's going to grow back. So giving him that haircut and seeing him cry and just be super grateful, and to give him, you know, water. It when we did it, I think it was like 85 degrees, and it was like 11 a.m. and so it was only getting hotter. To give him water, to give him a bag, give him the toothbrush and everything that was inside of it, you know, he was just so grateful. And he was the first person to open up to us. And he was just like, you know what, I know you guys, like, we went to about 10 to 15 people, and they didn't want, you know, free haircut. They didn't want a tote bag. They didn't want anything that we had to offer them. They just wanted to be left alone. For me, that's the craziest reaction, because I know people that have money and a home and a car, and they're not even hungry, but yet they'll eat when they're at someone's house. Like, oh my goodness, that food looks so good, I have to eat.
Right.
And I find myself in that situation before too. And then I'm going to somebody that has significantly less than me, and they're not accepting something that's free that they could clearly use.
Yeah, it's hard to understand.
And so,
is it humility, pride?
I think it could be a mixture of many things. So it could be humility, it could be pride. Other things that it could possibly be is, you know, maybe it's mental illness, or you know, we've talked to people that, I mean, there was one stream in Hollywood where we actually did give a guy a haircut, but he was very intoxicated. His name was Royal. He was heavily intoxicated. He drank a bottle of vodka, and he was drinking a bottle of whiskey, and it was kind of tough because we do want to help him, and at the same time he was just incredibly intoxicated, and it becomes a safety factor because I'm standing on the curb. I don't know if he's going to push me.
Yeah.
He was pausing when he was speaking, and it was a very rough engagement. But there was moments where he was like, man, I'm like so happy that I had, like, you guys gave me this haircut. He's like, I don't know if this is like the best reaction we got, but he was like, oh man, look at my haircut. That's cordial.
Huh.
And I was like, but I think what he meant was, like, because by the smile and how happy he looked, was that he was like, man, he's like, I feel handsome. I feel like, you know, this is how I'm supposed to look. You know, people are supposed to look well groomed.
Right.
And I'm happy that, you know, Shafiq reached out to me and was like,
how did you meet him?
I want to do this. Actually, we went to high school together. He's a couple years older than me. Yeah, he graduated 3 years before I did. So he's a couple years older than me, and he was starting his business, and he used to cut my hair, or he still does. So he cuts my hair, and then you know, he saw that we were starting our business. He saw how focused and determined we are. He saw how much we've done. And
he's not in business with you for tipsy. He's not a partner. He's not your partner for that. You have a different partner for that.
Yeah, Andrew and Yasha, and we had an original co-founder, which was a buddy named Diego. We actually played collegiate soccer together.
Oh.
I played soccer with him ever since I was like 12 years old. But he dropped out, and then we have a developer on our team now.
Oh, so what's next for that business? What's it called? Tipsy?
Tipsy.
Tipsy.
Yeah. So actually, we got a couple things going on. We might possibly be expanding overseas.
Wow.
I can't really talk. Yeah, I can't really talk too much about that, but we got to make sure that everything is set and sound for that to happen. And we are all over LA County. We're going to be possibly linking up with a very free-spirited news. Is it? Yeah, a very spirited news company. They're very young. It's Arsenic Magazine. You can check it out. Yeah, so Arsenic Magazine, we're looking to do some work with them and really lay a foundation for a long-term friendship. They are the fastest growing, I want to say public company. I'm at a loss for words right now, but they've grown so quickly in such short time, and the content that they put out, I guess you can kind of put it in the controversial section, but they're very
they're a little edgy.
They're very good at what they're a little edgy, and they're good at what they do, and they reach the same crowd that we reach. So I think it's a very good look for us to work with them. We just need to make sure that. Go ahead.
How does that work? The business itself. So delivery business, I get it, but what about the app? How does that, like, if I wanted to order something, is it for everybody? Is it for businesses? Is it for parties? What is it?
No, it's definitely for everybody, for everyone. For me, right? I guess my philosophy and how I want things to be is, I hope no one says, like, red flags me and says I'm a communist, but I definitely feel that if you're gonna make a good product, or give a service, it's got to be accessible to everyone.
Okay.
So our service, even though our clients or our customers seem to be of a certain type of demographic, we still encourage anyone to use it. The service is, you just go on your iPhone. So you would go on your iPhone, right? And then you'd open it up. You would go hit Tipsy. You would choose what alcohol you would like to order. And what you pay is the shelf price with the tax and CRV included. And on top of that, we will add a $5 delivery fee. So the delivery fee would literally cover the gas that you would use to drive. Okay. So, and it just depends on how far you are and where you are. Like if you were at work, you can schedule an order.
Is that your phone?
And if you hear, yeah, and that's actually, those are orders coming in right now.
Wow.
So we just had 1, 2, 3, 4.
That's because
we just had 4 orders.
I put your website out. No, just kidding. I wish.
No, definitely true.
No.
But but yeah,
thank you to Jane LaForge. There, she's gonna go. It's 3 hours ahead for her. Thank you so much for staying with us. And I think Jay had to get going, but I'm still here and you're still here, so keep talking. So like I could go on there, I can order something, you charge me $5, and how long do I have to wait?
It's just like pizza, so it takes about like 20 minutes. We've had orders where we have drivers that are stationed near the liquor stores, so your order will go to the nearest liquor store.
Okay.
And so that person will go in, pick up your alcohol, bring it to you, and everything is paid for on the app. So it's kind of like a safety thing for us. We want to make sure that our drivers aren't holding cash.
Right.
Because we don't, late at night, obviously it's a safety thing.
Right.
We don't want them being held up for money. Hey, give me all the alcohol. Like, if a person really went and was like, give me all the alcohol, our driver would give them the alcohol because they've already paid for it.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, it wouldn't, we want to minimize that risk for the drivers.
And what?
And starting off.
What
go
areas?
ahead.
What areas is this in? I mean, how do you go international with that? How does?
International, we would do like an Uber, where we would hire drivers.
Okay.
They would be able to log in through the app, and you know, with like background checks and things like that, we would, you know, obviously make sure that it's people that are trustworthy. So the model that we built here in LA is, and we go all the way in all throughout LA County.
Okay.
So with that model, you can essentially take it anywhere.
Yeah.
Anywhere with, you don't even need cars. You know, you can have bikes and they could deliver on bikes, you know, to be economically responsible.
Yeah.
No, it just depends. So like a New York area where there's a lot of traffic and everything is so close together, a bike system would work. In LA, a bike system really wouldn't work.
Too far.
Because everything's too spread out. Even if it wasn't in Santa Monica and we did like a 10-mile radius, there might be, you know, that bike would happen. You know, if we got a $1,200 order, you're not going to carry that on a bike unless you had like one of those baby strollers, like you hitch on the back. But
no,
I don't imagine.
So you have to have drivers in certain cities, but in some smaller areas. How do you deal with drinking age and other laws?
Oh, so it's exactly like you would if you would go to a bar or a liquor store. So the thing that we do is we piggyback on the liquor store's license. Because we're a delivery service, we don't need our own liquor license. Then when the alcohol is in our hands, we go to that location, and the first thing that we ask for before we hand them the alcohol is your ID, please. We verify the identification. It's only state or government issued identification. So like a military ID, a passport, or a driver's license.
So how do you screen your drivers or your delivery people?
So we're actually going into that phase right now, and what we're going to do, what we're trying is, because the first phase was, how do we do this? So we did it ourselves. So we knew the responsibilities. We signed contracts with the liquor store saying that we, the co-founders, are going to doing our own deliveries. And we take full responsibility, and Tipsy takes full responsibility to any alcoholic beverages sold to any minors. So we would take all of that responsibility, and we would be fined and held responsible in court of law for that. So we've actually had a couple cases where that's tried to happen, and all we do is cancel the order. We charge them a $10 fee, a restocking fee for false identification, and then we take it back, and then that's it. And then we red flag that user.
Do you have to have some kind of special insurance just to cover your own risk, as far as what if something happened to you?
For us, on our own, we have our own insurance policies for our cars and our health. But when we get drivers, if that's the route we go to, because in some states you can't have your own delivery drivers. It has to be the liquor store's delivery drivers.
Right.
So we are in the second process of coordinating with liquor stores. Hey, it's your product. You don't have to use us to do deliveries. You guys can do your own deliveries, and we're essentially your marketers. We're getting your product out there to everybody, to all of our users. You guys do your deliveries, but with that, we also need quality service from you, because I know every time that I go do delivery, I'm smiling, and I'm happy to see them. I thank them, and I'm just curious, how did you guys hear from us? What can I do to make your experience better?
Right. Well, it sounds like you've got the answers for everything. I mean, you're just it's going to be really successful. I'm really proud of you. I'm really happy for you. What if I wanted something from that liquor store that wasn't alcohol? Like, would you bring me ice cream if that's what I really want? Or is it just the alcohol?
So we don't have ice cream on the menu.
Or snacks.
But we, like, right now we do have the chasers. We just wanted to take care of the essentials. Mm-hmm. So the alcohol.
Ice cream is essential. I'm just kidding. But the market will deliver, I guess. But that makes sense.
But no,
you have a menu, you have a website. I'm going to have to check it out. I have to admit I haven't looked at it yet. And I just want to acknowledge Stephen here in the room. Thank you. I really appreciate you being here. I don't think you're really here. I don't think you came in, but maybe left. But anyway, just for the record, thank you for coming into 10 Minutes in Tinsel Town, Stephen, and everybody else in the room. Every so often, I have to remember that there are people watching. It's just like Meerkat. I know you didn't get a chance to really get acclimated, Chris, but on the right, there's the chat room, just like on Meerkat. You can scroll back and see all the messages so they don't go away.
Yeah.
And then just kind of like, on the other platforms, but you can continue. They call it feels with the hands up, and you can give feels and get points up that way. It's kind of just for fun. And then on the other side, or if you're on your phone, it might not be showing up, but I can change the title. I can send tweets out, and it shows all the tweets that have been sent out on the left side. And so, and you can retweet people right from here. You don't have to go to Twitter to retweet them. So like right now, I just retweeted Bobby's. So that's kind of cool. And then I have to tell you, I got a message from Jay. He had to drop out because his computer crashed. Got really hot and fizzled out. So that's kind of sucky. I think he had just come from doing an interview before, so he's been using a lot of bandwidth, and maybe hopefully he'll be able to get that resolved. And Jens didn't show up. Okay. He stood me up. He's off my list.
Oh, no.
I know. He rescheduled another time, and now he stood me up. So he's always welcome to come on, but I'm done with scheduling. He can't, I can't run a show if you're not going to show up. So I appreciate you being here.
Yeah, definitely. You're welcome.
Thank you.
I've always had this talent since I was really young. I talk a lot, so.
So that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Right. I learned how to be quiet, but I'll just go and go and go.
Well, it's fun talking about you. You have so many wonderful interests, and you've had a very successful and continue to give back what you know about soccer and that you're passionate about it. You've traveled with it. You've told us all about your business venture with Tipsy and how you're going to make it grow and how, it works, the ins and outs of it. I think that's fantastic. And then, the way that you give to the community and help the people who are needy. And you've talked about your family, and you're just a really terrific guy. So are you dating anybody? In case anybody out there when I did the video says, what a perfect guy. I know you probably go out a lot.
No, I'm not dating anyone. I don't have time, as you can see. Like, I don't have time I don't even have time to go out on a date. And then when I do have time, like, it's always just like, okay, how am I going to get set up for the next thing? And I'm very, like, bad with focusing. I'm very bad with focusing. Like, like the kid that never gets his homework done. Like, if it's in class, I'll do it. Like, if it's in the moment, I'll do it. But if I need to remember, I don't remember. And then it gets brought up, and then I'm like, okay, well, let me work on it real quick.
Yeah. Yeah, I can think
so
I'm kind of like that.
I think.
I can, yeah.
Right. So the first thing I need to do, when I start making enough money, is hire an assistant. just like a different version of my mom. Someone to just be on me, but like in a way to where I don't I don't get mad at them.
You have respect for them because they work for you. But yeah, I always say that when I really make it big, I'm gonna get a nanny, a personal assistant that just takes care of me, like with everything, like shopping, what I'm eating, making sure my clothes are ready, like a personal assistant takes care of paying my bills. So I could just go out there and help people and inspire people and write and create and do art and travel, and I won't have to worry about all that stuff that piles up, because I'm really good at doing that, but I could do either or. I can't do the both. I can keep up on all the bills and all the paperwork and all the cleaning and all the house thing and all the, the family, but then I can't create, I can't do it all. I found that out.
Yeah.
I'm a superwoman. I'm not superwoman.
Yeah. I like that quote. I'm a superwoman. I'm not superwoman.
Yeah.
I like that. This book that I started reading, because I realized I can't read books about fiction. And the thing is because I've read one complete book since I've been over the age of 14. That's a fiction book.
Maybe you like the flash fiction. Those authors, 1,000 words or less, that tells a whole story.
Yeah, see, that's something I can do because
I can't wait to read
so I'm just all that, and then I'm hooked, and I'm like, wait, where's more?
Oh yeah,
right.
You go read the next story.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, fiction books are hard for me to read. What was it? The Hunger Games. I read The Hunger Games. Then the second one, I'd seen the movie before. I read Hunger Games. I read that one. Then I hadn't seen the second one. I was like, okay, I'm going to read it all. And then I was like, wait, no, I'm going to spoil it. Then I saw the movie, and I was like, wait.
You had to read it.
The third movie's already coming out again. So, like, now if I read the second one, I go back, I'm going to be thinking about the second one, and I need to be, like, I want to know about the third one. So, like, should I read the third one? Then I'm missing a whole bunch of stuff. I couldn't jump back and forth where I wanted to go. And then I don't know if you ever heard of a guy named Tai Lopez.
I might have heard you mention Tai Lopez. I think.
Okay. He is he's a entrepreneur, and he's kind of like an online mentor. And I've looked at his stuff, and he talked about, like, read. And he brought this new concept to me. It was like, you don't really need to read everything. It just depends on what you're reading. If you're reading fiction, yeah, you need to read the whole story because you need to know the story, and you need to know the character build up, and all those things are important, or else you're just lost. Mm-hmm. But if you read about great people, if you read about Sam Walton, or if you read about Aristotle, or if you read about a book that is written about social structure, or if you read about anything, any important person, like for me, Sir Alex Ferguson is a very important soccer coach. So if I read about him, that's real life events and how they dealt with real life events. You don't really need to know everything about them. You just need to know the good things that they had and the good points. Donald Trump, right? He's not the most loved person, but there are good things about Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Like how he was able to come out of $9 billion worth of debt, or 9 million? I don't remember.
I can't imagine either one. It's a lot.
Like I'm like, I get a ticket, like a parking ticket. I'm freaking out. I'm like, this is $55. And he's just like, this is $1 billion worth of debt.
How do you do that?
And
he got out of it.
I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, big money.
Yeah. So his everybody has knowledge, and everybody, it's their first time doing it. This thing called life. So how can you learn from everybody around you and take the good qualities and internalize that in yourself? Because you're not going to be able to meet Sam Walton. You're not going to be able to meet, like, I'm not going to be able to meet Donald Trump. I'm not going to be able to meet Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm not going to be able to meet these people, but they have their books.
Wanted to, though. That's a topic for another time. But I get what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying, because I feel like I can get to know someone by reading either about them or reading something that they wrote, and you get closer to them and inspired by them. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. Yeah. You can pick out their good qualities, and if you have a book where it's extremely revealing, where they talk about if they've ever done drugs or all their bad times with the opposite sex and all the bad things that they felt that they've done in their life, you learn that, like a guy like Warren Buffett. I'm not sure if I'll ever get to meet him, but a guy like Warren Buffett, right? I can get all of his knowledge because it's stored somewhere. That's like if you want a movie and you go to Best Buy because that's where the information is stored, or you go online and you look on Netflix because that's where the information is stored. And that's the best thing about books and about documentaries about people and all these things that we share as humans. That's the best thing out there, is that we are giving each other the best parts of all of us, so we can hopefully make the people that are going to follow us into better people.
Yeah.
So I guess subconsciously I'm trying to do that. Sometimes I don't always realize I'm doing it, but like when I do the Raise LA streams, that's the message, is that I want you to take what's good from me, and I want you to take that and not just only view only that as me. Like I've also streamed before where I'm drinking and I'm having fun with my friends.
Yeah.
And that's not always the best message, right? That's especially if a child popped in and saw me drinking, and like, oh, this is a person that helps the homeless. Well, he drinks too.
Well, I have to be honest with you. You know what, Chris? With things like with the way we find things here and there, Jay asked me, why are we interviewing this guy? Every time I see a stream, I don't understand what you see in him. I think he's probably seen some of those kinds of streams. And I'm like, oh, no. You got to meet him because he's incredible and brings so much. And I love what you say, that you want them to take what's good from you. That is beautiful. Chris, that is why you are a superstar. You're a total rock star and deserve your 10 minutes of fame. And look, our 1 and 2 people left here in the room are giving you feels, because it's so true. You are just shining, and your face just lights up with energy, and it's so important for you to be setting an example for other people, and older and younger, and who are able to do what you do and who aren't able to do what you do. Just knowing that you're doing it makes me feel better about the world. So thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you for having me here, and thank you to Andres and Puerto Ruvian. You guys are awesome. I know you guys always pop in whenever I stream, whether it's me doing a burger battle or if I'm out and doing Raise LA, right? What did you vote on that one? Actually, I voted Coke.
We are the same. Coke all the way.
Yes.
Well, first of all, I represent Coke for brands and stuff, but yeah, definitely feels for Coke. I love Coke. I love Diet Coke. I used to drink regular Coke, and all their products are great. I love Coca-Cola. And cake. Pie is okay once in a while, but cake is always good.
Yes, team cake.
Yes, team cake. So I actually tried to get Joe to come on tonight because, I thought it'd be fun to have him here with you and Jens, because that would be like a little reunion for us. Because we met that time. But, everybody's got different things going on. But thank you again. You have no idea. I don't know if you realize some of the things have been going around the last few days with people. Somebody that was close to us turned out to be a total fraud, and it hurts so much. And so it's nice to know that there are real people doing real things for others. And I just am glad you're here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I have to tell you.
I had no idea.
Yeah. It's really, really scary that, it's hard to trust people, and you are very transparent, and it's so important. You show what you're doing, you show who you are, you show why. And I didn't realize the value in that so much as I do now. So thank you.
You're welcome. So
I was going to do a
how
contest, but I think I'm going to save it for next week because I have prizes to give away. And
okay.
yeah, so next week on the show, I have, where's my notes? I have a social media professor who teaches social journalism, and her name is Lisa Flowers, and she has a Facebook group for her students, but for everybody who's an entrepreneur, and she does marketing, helps with social media marketing. You might be interested in joining that. Her name is Lisa Flowers. She'll be with us next week, as well as a comedic motivational podcast co-host of Success Freaks, R. Mordaunt Man. I think it's pronounced Man. R. Mordaunt Man. And he is a fantastic, amazing guy who I met at NMX. I met Lisa online in a group called the Midlife Women of Midlife. So everybody in that group is like 45 and up. I like that group because I'm one of the youngins. But we're all in our midlife. And so she is, I've never met her in person, but we had this wonderful conversation. We're kind of like connected in a lot of ways. And then R. Mordaunt, I met at NMX, and he was a speaker there and just full of energy. And I met him at a cocktail party, and he's just one of the people who works the room. You know, just, it wouldn't matter if he was speaking at that conference. He would come up and talk to you. And he has a podcast that's motivational and comedic. He's a riot. He's hilarious. He's a really cool guy.
That's awesome.
So you got to tune in next week, Tuesday night, 10 Minutes in Tinsel Town, right here on Blab from 6 to 8 p.m. This has been Melissa Reyes on 10 Minutes in Tinsel Town. Thank you to my guest, Christopher Lopez. And thank you to the Burning River authors who were with me here earlier. Thank you, Jay, my co-host at Gene Wilder's Hair. And thank you, everybody, for coming. I really appreciate my huge audience. 50% of the audience here is Andres Lozano, who I'm now following, and my buddy who was here last week, Portoruvian. So
yeah, they're amazing.
Well, we keep going, and you know, perseverance, man. Got to keep on keeping on. That's my theme for today. So next week we'll have the prizes. I've got a beach towel. It's the beach towel size of a microfiber material. So you know those like shop towels, but it's like a full body size. Yeah. It's amazing.
Oh, nice.
Thank you so much, Andre. And I also have a Bluetooth wireless speaker thing that Jay got to try out and test, and the review is on my website at bizmaliz.com. And the people at His Gadget offered to give another one away, so we're going to get that. And a book. I'm going to give away a copy of my book. So if anybody wants a copy of This is the Sound of My Soul, we got it right here. I'm going to give one away next week. So we're going to have prizes. It'll be fun. Check out my book.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Maybe I'll see you at Hotel Cafe Sunday night. We can have a drink.
Hotel Cafe? Who's doing that?
Well, on Sunday night at 6 o'clock at the Hotel Cafe, the Tongue and Groove is those authors, and they're going to be reading. So...
Okay. Where is that?
Hotel Cafe's on Cahuenga in Hollywood, and go to MizMaliz.com. I've got the address and directions right there. So
okay, perfect.
MizMeliz.com.
Okay.
.com. All right. I'm going to have another beer. Some summer ale here. And going to relax. It's 8 o'clock. Show's over. Time to go home. If Jay was here, he'd probably play a little music. But you know what? We'll have some music, so let's dance. Good night, everybody. Dancing.
Good night.
Come on, dance with me, Chris. When do I get to dance with a young, good-looking guy like you? Oh, wait, I live with 3 young, good-looking guys, but they're my sons.
Oh, there you go.
All right, sweetie. Have a good night. Thank you. I'll see you out there on the interwebs.
Yeah, I'll be on Meerkat.
I'll be watching. And you take care of yourself out there. Be good.
I will.
Okay. Good night. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you for coming and for being on 10 Minutes in Tinsel Town. This is Melissa Reyes. We'll see you next week, Tuesday night, 6 to 8 p.m.